I'm going to point the obvious out here, and I'm sure a lot of the rest of you have considered this same thing. But I just have to say it, because I don't really hear it being said. I'm sure somebody has, not in the mainstream media, but listen to this. What am I responding to? The most recent Fort Hood shooting, of course. Again, let me point out, if you look back at every single shooter event, mass shooter event, quote unquote, that has occurred in the last few years, whether it's Dorner, whether it's the Denver Aurora theater shooting, whether it's the Naval Shipyard, the Fort Hood shooting back in 2000, what was that? 9, and now this one. All of them have been committed, at least they've been blamed on or committed by people associated with the government. Have you ever noticed that? In one way or another. So the very government that says that it has to protect you against these things has people working for it that are committing these crimes, they want to call them acts of terror, and maybe in some regards they are. Possibly the first Fort Hood shooting could be classified as that, even though they didn't go with it. They actually went not with terrorism. But isn't it interesting that they've all been associated one way or another with the government? Now, the Aurora one, he was in the DARPA program. That's pretty well established now. And of course, psychotropic drugs are constantly involved. And if you've watched any of the Bourne programs, that's not fiction, okay? As we all know, they give drugs to the troops to keep them going, even when they should get rest, and to change their mental capabilities, their mental capacities, their alertness, keep them from getting depressed, things like that. But the point is that this government that's all about taking away our liberties so that we will be safe can't even keep their own people under control. Should they keep their people under control? No, I'm not saying that the government should control anybody. The central government has a limited charter, okay? We all understand that. It has a limited charter, and it's way out of bounds, okay? It's to protect the liberties of the people and then let the people do the rest, okay? Except for the government has what the charter said is to protect the borders, protect against invasion, the common defense, those types of things. But they've way overstepped their bounds. But that's another story. The big thing is here, the very government that says it's going to protect you, its own people are the ones that are doing the shooting. Isn't that just crazy? Isn't that just crazy? I'm just hoping I don't give them an idea to grab some, patsy off the street, some mentally ill guy like the FBI has been known to do, and create a terrorist situation out of just somebody who doesn't know any better, which is normally the case. TSA still hasn't found any terrorists. That's because they are the terrorists, obviously. Bush said in 2001, they want to take away our freedoms. Hey, Bushy boy, you've done a great job at that yourself. Why, with people like you, we don't need Al-Qaeda. Same goes for Obama, same goes with James Clapper, same goes with Keith Alexander. All of those assholes, lying creatures of the night. Wow. I don't think I've used language like that before. So keep that in mind. Now, there might be a few reasons why they do these shootings by government workers. First of all, they have more control over somebody like that. They don't have to grab them off the street and program them. They're already programmed. But I think we need to point that out, that this government, it's like in prisons. You can get more drugs in prison than you can get out on the street, and that's under the tightest control possible in a prison. They can still do it. It's the same thing here. What was that Princess Leia said in Star Wars? The more you close your fist, the more will slip through your fingers. Government, you're doing it all wrong, but it's because you want control and power. You're not about about assisting the people in protecting their life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. Oh, no, 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 no. You want that grip. Oh, people say, well, what about the Sandy Hook shooting, and what about the Columbine shooting a few years ago? Again, there are a lot of suspicious circumstances on that where government or the big banks had an influence of one sort or another. So at any rate, I think the accusation holds true. Of course, Sandy Hook may not have happened the way they've molded the story. Probably didn't happen anything like that, and there are all kinds of signs surrounding that make it look very suspicious that there was another operation going on. Boston bombing. I think we pretty well laid to rest that was an FBI, CIA thing going on there. So again, government involved. The Tsarnaev brothers had been former, agents of some sort, at least the older one, for the CIA and some type of connection to the FBI. So it really holds true almost across the board. I wanted to point that out to everybody. I'm sure it's not that I haven't known this before, and I'm sure it's not that the rest of you haven't known it. It just was something I had to say today to get it out, that's something that we need to look at. Have a nice day.